6 jiu-jitsu super moves that will send your surfing performance into overdrive. And only 4 of them involve doing butt stuff. Today on the Surfing Podcast. Hello and welcome to the Surfing Podcast. My name is Dan Bialek. I am the host. Please be sure to follow us on Instagram and subscribe on iTunes. And to get a tattoo of my cat on your forehead. No, don't. My cat's very obese and in her mid-teens. She's about dead. Don't get a tattoo of a cat that's about to die on your forehead. You will be sad. Speaking of subscribing and tattooing your soul, though, in the last week or two, a bunch of you folks have jumped on iTunes and left a 5-star review and left a text review saying you like the show. So thank you very much. And the past couple months when we were on break, I looked at iTunes. Some of you guys had gone and left reviews and said, hey, I missed the show. I hope it comes back. So double thank you. All right, let's get into it because I got to go pick my kid up from school in 40 minutes, and I don't want to blow it. Like 47, but he's going to be... All right, kid's going to be standing outside of sad if I go long. So let's go short. Last episode, thanks for everyone who listened and who shared it. Last episode was the one where I talked about taking on the most dangerous surf gang in Southern California. Highly recommend it. Yeah, I can't speak today like every other episode I record. I highly recommend taking a listen to it if you don't follow this show or you haven't listened to it before. That was that episode, taking on SoCal's Deadliest Surf Gang, was the most downloaded and most rapidly downloaded episode in the show's history. And we had just taken a 3-month break, so I think 3-month break. And I think we'd picked up a bunch of subscribers over the holidays and over the time that we were gone. But like, I also feel we don't have that many listeners. I think people just listen to it 2, 3, 4, 5 times because it's me getting into an awful situation with a bunch of teenage punks and all of us coming off as assholes. Probably me the biggest asshole, but I enjoyed the episode and I was glad to put it out. It makes me look awful, and I'm fine with that because I'm really am not only terrible but also very stupid. I wish I wasn't, guys. I wish there was some type of flowers for Algernon pill I could take to surgery or get kicked by a mule, my eyes crossed, but I gained 20 IQ points. I don't care. I'd make that deal. Monkey's paw, you name it. I'd be down for it. Speaking of being down for it, I'm down for the count, guys. I just, this past weekend, I blew my knee out. I'm regular foot, so my front leg, my left knee blew out. We're going to talk about that today, but we're also, because I don't want to make the show all about me and my knee and my high performance surfing. I want to make it about you and your life and the things that you like and surfing. And speaking of surfing, this past week before my knee blew out, this is before my knee and after my knee. That's like AD and BC. That's what I'm telling time for now. No, hopefully not. They had 2 surf contests. The WSL, the World Surf League, is just hanging on the best they can. God bless them. They're putting out content. They're putting on contests, and all of it is lackluster at best, much like this podcast, which I do for free, not for millions of, probably tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars. Whatever the WSL is spending these days because their product is weak. We'll get into it. There was 2 contests in Narrabeen. I guess because of the lockdown, all the COVID lockdown still in effect, and Australia's taking it seriously because they had a bunch of flare-ups and whatnots. The surfers for the contest for the Australia leg had to fly in and quarantine in a hotel room for 2 weeks when they got there. I know this because all of them fucking bitched about it on Instagram and posted stories like, I'm bored in a hotel room. Dude, it's like, shut up. Get a blowjob off your fucking hot Brazilian girlfriend who's like, 7 years younger than you, and you're like 23, and do a bunch of cocaine and shut up, you spoiled dipshits. Not everybody was like that, but there were some posts where you're like, dude, your life is great, shut up, just watch some movies, beat off, and take a nap for a couple more days, you'll be fine. Orange County surf celebrity / surf star / one of the best surfers to come out of Orange County, Courtney Conalog, she's on the the women's world tour right now, and title contender every year that she's in the mix. She did really funny things. She made like a bunch of funny Instagram videos where she like climbed, because she does like rock climbing and stuff in her free time and like cross training and stuff, but I think she just likes it. I don't think she's like cross training to conquer the world. I think she just enjoys it. But she had like rock climbed or like walked the perimeter of her hotel room and like set up little challenges like that, like climbing around and stuff. So I thought that was cool and that was neat to see versus the other people like, this sucks. Wah! Like just Jesus Christ. Get a Nintendo Switch, play some kids online in Fortnite, drop some F-bombs on them, feel better about yourself. You don't have to, 2 weeks isn't that long to jerk off. You were in your teens before. Come on. Anyway, the contest in Narrabeen, I didn't even watch the first one. I tried to, and then I just gave up on it. I watched a third of the second one, And it was just, there was some really good surfing there. There's some really crazy shit that went down. Jack Freestone had a crazy air. Jack Robinson, I believe, did. All these people named Jack did awesome things. And then Brazilian people were flying around in the air and boosting. And then there was stalwarts and upstarts like Reef Hazelwood surfed well. Like there was good things going on, but it was impossible to watch. I tuned in one day in the late afternoon, one night in the evening after dinner, one night at like 1 a.m., and then the next morning try to watch heats, and it's the most god awful boring thing in the world to watch. I know it's just a beach break and this and that, and I'm not complaining. Like, I don't care whether it's a beach break or Piper Chopu or fucking Outer Reef Mongolia. It's just watching two dudes sit and hassle over 3-foot waves with 20-minute lulls or whatever, 10-minute lulls is the most. As a surfer, as a person who loves surfing so much, I destroyed my body and I'm currently walking barely with the fucking 3 ace bandages on my knee. I love surfing. I like to watch surfing, I like to do surfing, I like to hear about surfing. I like how surfing smells. I'll lick surfing's armpit. I love it. But watching two dudes or whatever sit out there and just paddle back and forth and do nothing is so fucking boring. And then what doesn't make it better? The commentating. The commentating in WSL is garbage. And I don't mean all of it. They were on a track for a while where they had like Ross and Joe Turpel and Peter Mel, and they kind of reined in Potts and got them repeating the same 5 catchphrases in a row, feet in the wax, building house and all that shit, where it was kind of watchable because they treated it. The commentators, you could tell, were treating it like a real sport, talking about it like a real sport, taking themselves seriously as commentators, and trying to put forward an educational and entertaining, experience about the sport, the professional sport of surfing at the highest level, if you will. And after, or maybe COVID took the wind out of their sails, they don't have a creative director that directs they don't have a good mission statement or whatever, like that directs what the focus of the show and what the WSL is all about. They really don't. I guarantee you they don't. Whatever their log line or their mission statement is at the WSL, it sucks. Hire someone to rewrite it and pick what the fuck you are and be that thing, because what you are now sucks. Sorry, I digress. No, they like Turpel and like Peter Mel and Ross and all those guys and Potts would watch heats and pick them apart and talk about strategy and talk about what guys were doing or what they could do, why they were doing it, why they were sitting on a guy. And yeah, sometimes it was repetitive, but I felt like as a surfer, it was watchable. And if someone that had never surfed that I knew, either I've watching at work at the break room or, the men's bathroom at a Greyhound station, whatever, if someone else came in that room and didn't know about surfing, they could sit down next to me, or if the Greyhound station, I guess on my lap or on my knees, Santa Claus style, while I was pooping, and watch the surfing contest and not only know what was going on, but like sort of be interested. Like it was, even if it wasn't that, it wouldn't be fucking embarrassing, is what I'm saying. It is fucking embarrassing now. If you are a surfer and you're watching a WSL contest and you have to watch it in front of somebody else that doesn't surf or know what it is, and they listen to it for like less than 5 minutes, let's say 5 minutes total, because they won't listen to it longer than that or watch it, they will laugh and go, "This is fucking terrible. These people are fucking morons. What the fuck is this? Let's do something else. Please shoot me in the eye with a BB gun at close range." Like, it really is just terrible. And here's why. The commentators, there's a million of them scattered about. I know they have to hire new ones and guys are in and out of town and COVID and all this shit, but it's like, dude, if this is going to be your fucking job, and if I'm saying this to the WSL, if this is going to be your job being the WSL, do your fucking job. And if you're going to have commentators, have them do their fucking jobs. Have them show up on the same fucking continent for a contest if they're going to commentate it, and pay these fuckers. And I'd rather have like 3 or 4 well-paid fucking commentators than 25 dipshits zoom in from Skype or be interviewed on the beach as they walk by to meet their fucking coke dealer or get high under a blanket, Like, it's retarded. It's awful. And I'm not shitting. Like, I do like the commentators. I think like the guys like Joe Turpel, Ronnie Blakey, who has a startlingly Australian accent. Jesus Christ, he's like an Australian car commercial. But it's a great voice for broadcasting, and probably gets him laid. And I'm sure he does voiceover work as like an outback adventurer who's secretly an aristocrat. He's a great guy. I've never met him. I'm just saying, like, I don't mind any of that. But like, when it's new people and then, or a random dude or girl thrown in every other heat, and they're just noodling about doing nothing, they have no game plan, they have no agenda, they have no notes, that is fucking unwatchable. It's like watching bad stand up. It's like watching open micers go up there without a set list and go, "Oh, I'm just going to riff for 5 minutes." unless you are a very accomplished fucking comedian or performer or thinker or writer, it is very difficult to go up and riff for 5 minutes on stage, let alone on a worldwide broadcast, well, on the internet, of a quote unquote professional surfing event. God, the fucking broadcast was terrible. It's like, I'm joking. I'm not calling anybody out saying, oh, these people are all idiots or drug addicts. Some of them probably are. Most of them probably aren't. But like when they had one example of just like a really uncompelling commentary and like a wasted opportunity is apparently, Tom Carroll, still works in the surf industry, still surfs. He's a multiple-time world champion. He did that snap at pipeline in the 90s. Tom Carroll, he's fucking great. He's like this little tiny homunculus of what a man should be, all 5'1" of them or whatever, standing on 3 phone books. But he's on the beach wandering about. So they take the camera and they Dimity Stoll, who's like I guess she was a pro surfer. I guess she still is a pro surfer, but maybe she's not competing. She's segueing into like doing the broadcasting side of surfing, which good on her, likable person, great thing. One of the roving reporters on the beach finds Tom Carroll and then starts interviewing him about the contest. And in the background is like, guys surfing 3-foot fucking Narrabeen, which isn't that compelling. And I think Tom was like rooting for, I'm rooting for so-and-so or whatever. But like, he just wasn't prepared and had nothing to say. Because he's out wandering on the beach. I don't know if he's there meeting a friend or at a sponsor thing or working for a surf company or whatever. But like, if you're going to go to the beach and interview a legend, have like fucking questions, like some type of, have a point, have a thesis statement like, oh, we're going to talk to Tom Carroll because this is a lot like when he won this contest back in 91 and the conditions are the same. How would you approach these conditions? Or what kind of equipment would your rider house? Anything like, hey, how do you think today's going? It's weird. Or who do you think's good? All right, you're a legend. Thanks. Like, no one fucking cares. Like, you have to build context. It's coming at it. And it's, again, like bad stand-up, like bad open micers, because I'm sitting in my comedy theater that's going to open hopefully next month after all these, if at least 71% of the dipshits in this country can fucking get vaccinated before we all die, or, a second pandemic happens. But you have, like, bad stand-up or bad performances, like when people go on stage or go to perform and they have no goal, like what is their log line? What are they there to say? That's the WSL, and it's just there to say nothing. It was saying these are premier elite athletes competing at the highest level. These are the highest level athletes. These are the best athletes in the world. These people are just as good as any professional, football player, tennis player, soccer player, swimmer. These are real athletes. And that was, like I said, it's absolute bullshit. But it was like they stuck to it, and that was the package they gave you. The commentators treated it like that. They showed replays. They talked about strategy. The interviews were all about fucking surfing and like strategy. And it was kind of boring and cookie cutter, but it was something. It was something to build off of. Like I said, COVID came in, whatever, kicked its ass. They lost their feet, but it's not that fucking hard. That's what the contest should always be. Or it can be something different and better if you have a goddamn goal and you know what you're doing. Because I feel like the WSL not only is hemorrhaging money, it's not making money, and it's a corporation run by fucking CEOs and shit. It's not going to lose money forever and stick around forever. They're either going to dump it and sell it to some other shitbag that makes it awful, like this is the Monster Energy Surf Challenge, or some shit like that, or it's just going to fucking be even weaker than it already is. They just cut the purse money by like 20 or 30% across the board for all the surfers. I think Rip Curl last year cut all its team riders salaries 50%. Hurley didn't pay fucking Julian Wilson for God knows how long, and he's suing them for like over $1 million because they just fucking, when they got sold, the new owner, and it's not Hurley or the Hurley family, it's the new owners of Hurley, which is some fucking hedge fund or whatever, just stop paying their fucking team riders, especially some of their big ticket ones. Like this poor guy's trying to fucking, he's got a wife and kids and doing his life, and he's one of the best surfers in the world. In the meantime, he's hiring lawyers and spending thousands of dollars a month, if not a week, to get the fucking company that he helped make fucking famous by his beautiful surfing and clean-cut looks and nice, clean living lifestyle, just getting butt-fucked. Like, how shitty does Julian Wilson... I like to bag on Julian Wilson sometimes, like, in a joking way, because he's just so good and it just seems so nice and so clean. It's fun to pick on the guy who's, like, just perfect. But, like, he's just a dude, and he's just getting fucked over by his ex-sponsor. And, of course, he's not like... He can't bitch about it on social media, because then that'll make him look like a crybaby, and then no one else will want to sponsor him or give him money, and it'll affect the court shit and all this stuff. But... God damn, what a fucking mess, right? But that's what I'm saying. Like, professional surfing is fucked. It's boring. It's stupid. The WSL is rudderless and just going in circles. And like I said, before COVID, it wasn't great, but it was something. They were lying to us and saying these are high level elite athletes, the best in the world, competing in high stakes things at the best venues that we can get. And they were trying for that. And they aim for the stars. You'll still land in the gutter and you can, surf your way to 7-Eleven, whatever. But fuck, now it's just like the Tom Carroll thing, noodling around the beach. Then they had like commentators call in that had nothing to do with the fucking contest. Like one of the Hawaiians was surfing, maybe John. So they had Koa Smith call in like on Zoom. And I know why they're doing this. All these guys are cool. They're all cool and they're all likable. But if you notice when someone's calling in and they're not like a regular commentator and they're not like a WSL like ex-champion or whatever, they're just like a pro, like a photo pro, it's because they have a huge social media following. They're booking people on the show that have huge social followings. Like Koa has a big following because he does really good on social media and puts out all these funny videos and pictures and really curates and films and just creates content 24/7. They had that's it. And then an hour later they had Paul Fisher, which I put out a couple tweets and I posted them on Instagram about like how the least compelling content in the world is having fucking bald drug addicts come in and talk about haircuts during a professional sporting event. Because I'm calling Paul Fisher bald, and I'm not calling him a drug addict, but Paul Fisher's was like a pro surfer who was kind of more like a photo pro who went into commentating, but was like a little bit too loosey-goosey and probably a little too R-rated for the WSL's likes. So he got into like DJing, and now he's like a famous DJ that I guarantee he makes way more money DJing and selling merch or whatever the fuck he does and doing endorsement deals than he ever would have working for the WSL or surfing as a WSL athlete. So good on him. But I like the guy because he's too like R or X rated for the WSL, and he's kind of a douche. He's kind of a misogynistic fucking dickbag. But he's like an Australian guy. He's like, Australians call each other cunts, and it sounds shitty when I say cunt, but when it's like, yeah, cunt, it sounds charming. It sounds like, my dearest friend, good mate, whatever. When I say cunt, it sounds like I'm gonna put on a wife beater and hit my wife in the mouth with a fucking pipe. But like it is what it is. It's like Fisher's fine. He's and I wasn't bagging him, calling him a bald drug addict. I just assume if you're a 34-year-old man who's a professional like rave DJ, you either have to be taking drugs or you fucking hate your life. Because there's no human being that spends like 24 to 72 hours at a fucking rave venue with raver club type people not doing drugs. That isn't just like, oh my God, these people suck, kill me. The reason you hang out in sucky places like a rave is so you can do drugs and suck on tits or whatever, And I think he's married and has a wife and all that, so he suck his wife tits or whatever. I'm not saying he cheats on his wife. Maybe he does. I doubt it. He does. He's such a likable dickbag. He'd be, fuck, mate, I fucking cheated on my wife, the dumb cunt, and I got my dicks. Like, you wouldn't even be mad at him. It's just his way. No. My point is having Fisher call in with like nothing to say except ripping on the other commentators' shirts and haircuts or whatever the fuck he was doing for 5 or 10 minutes. Yeah, it gives the show a boost, but I went into socials. He didn't like tweet. It didn't look like he boosted it on Twitter or Instagram or anything like that. So like that doesn't really help. And no one that's into him for his raving or his like R-rated, or X-rated fucking commentary or videos on Instagram are going to tune into that WSL shit because they know it's going to be watered down bullshit. So it's the same, like having Fisher or someone like Fisher, like with a big following, come on. At least he's a surfer, and at least he rips. There's a video like from like 8 or 10 years ago where he got like a dick-shaped surfboard shaped like a surfboard, like a shortboard shaped like a dick and balls, and then he surfed on it and he fucking ripped. He was doing like combos and multiple turns on a wave and like just shredding, probably doing airs and shit. Like, so he's a surfer, okay? So. But we're getting that level of the WSL. Like, they're going to start having, like, now we're having, like, this newest fucking star from, like, she just runner up on American Idol. She's calling in because she likes to boogie board or whatever. Like, that's the next step. And I say that because, like I said, I'm recording this at the Amazing Comedy Theater here in beautiful Huntington Beach, California. The most famous surf town to recently try and have a KKK rally, by the way. God damn, we suck. But I say that because I sit in this comedy theater like this week, Saturday Night Live announced that Elon Musk is going to be a fucking guest host in a couple months, in a couple weeks, like in the beginning of May. And it's like Elon Musk is a super rich guy who had super rich parents who owned a fucking emerald mine that invested in eBay and made money off that and then runs Tesla and all this shit. And he basically is a super rich guy that hires really smart people to fucking make these cool ass things that actually do forward progress in a scientific and, the path of humanity moving forward towards building cooler and neater things and maybe solving problems for all of humanity and society. But then he just spends his whole time online fucking stealing people's memes and reposting them and writing shitty things on Twitter and fucking whatever. I'm sorry. I'm sure he's like signing documents and whatever, but like, no, Elon Musk is a guy that was born rich, was clever, got richer, was smart about it, and now he's just like hires really smart people to make him look smart and make him even more money, which is a genius plan. But should he host SNL? No, he shouldn't. Because like I said, anyone having to talk for 5 minutes that isn't trained in what they're doing, like just like surf, like if I went to go surf a WSL heat for 5 minutes, you would not want to fucking watch. Well, you would, because I'd be going over the falls and like having Gabriel bunny hop over me and do like WNBA handstand claims, but. No. I used to, like when I was, I think 10 years ago when I was younger, I worked as a door guy at the Comedy Store and I worked the cover booth. I've seen over 10,000 hours of professional comedy at the most famous comedy fucking building on the planet. And you would see famous people that were famous like 10, 20, 30 years earlier, come in and get put up on stage and just eat a dick because everyone's excited to see a famous person on stage for about 2 minutes. And at 2 minutes and 1 second, this amazing thing happens where like you have to be actually doing something impressive or saying something impressive or funny, or else people not only get like they get uncomfortable, they get mad because you're wasting their fucking time. And that's what Elon Musk is hosting SNL. It's like there's people that study for decades taking improv at like Groundlings and UCB and improv, Olympic IO West, and they're in sketch groups and they fucking take classes and they're talented too. And they'll never be on SNL, let alone host it. And this dickbag from the fucking Emerald Mines of South Africa with this fucking weirdo, half his age Instagram wife and kid that's named after, I don't know, the number pi spelled in Pig Latin is hosting SNL. That's the same. That is the road that fucking I can see the WSL heading down. Like the more sensational, trying to get people that are with a following from any realm, even tangentially at best related to surfing. It's not becoming about the sport and about being a professional athlete and being a high level athlete. It's just a shit show. So I feel bad because I feel like all the athletes for the last 5 years that bought into that bullshit and hired trainers and coaches and ran practice heats and filmed themselves and watched it and watched the heat replay and talked to the judges before their heats about what they wanted to see. They're all fucked. That was a waste of half a decade of your fucking life. All the people like Julian, like Wilson, who toned down his surfing to make it fit more in the boxes of what the judges wanted to see versus doing radical shit that he wanted to do. Jack Freestone, who fucking struggled for years because he couldn't get his head around what the fucking criteria was supposed to be for him to get scored higher, even though he's like a very talented guy. All that shit was fucking wasted because now that it is not the elite athletes of the world doing elite shit. It's just a boring clusterfuck shit show starring whoever has the most Instagram followers, calling in. So much so, everyone loves Barton Lynch because Barton Lynch says mean shit. Like, oh, Barton Lynch is the best commentator. She tells like this. He's kind of a crotchety fuck brain. Not really. He's not a fuck brain. I'm sorry. That's mean. He's kind of a crotchety dickhead sometimes. Sometimes he seems like he's pushing it. Like, and this is part of the entertainment, pushing entertainment content in sports, and that's what drives it. I feel like sometimes he's in the past, and he takes on the air. He'll take an opinionated stance or be like having like a strong opinion or a contrarian opinion or whatever about something just to stir up controversy, which actually does the WSL in the broadcast a favor because it does goose it along and there's some compelling conflict, so that makes it watchable. So that's not against him. People think that he's like a genius, and I don't think if you go watch other sports with actual genius commentators, Barton Lynch is great, but he's just not like, go listen to a real well fucking commentated a basketball game, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But he called in, or he zoomed in. He's doing some project in Alaska, so he zoomed in, like did a Zoom call during the contest from Alaska. You know what? That adds nothing to the fucking content or the contest or the competition or anything. It's just garbage. And then I don't know. I just feel like the WSL they cheated these surfers. So my advice to you, if you are a WSL surfer or about to be on the WSL tour next year, fuck it, go nuts. It's about to end. It's about to implode. It's about to go bankrupt. Just go crazy and do whatever you can do to set your brand and differentiate yourself from the rest of the herd and make a career outside of the WSL. I'm not kidding. I am. That is like. Unless if you're Gabriel or John or like the top 5 guys that are going to be battling out for the title for the next forever or whatever, and whoever's like that coming up. But if you're just like a middling guy who like can make heats but can't really fucking seal the deal, but like is clever, like and interesting, do something crazy. Do like the Matt Wilkinson thing, where wear crazy things in heats, fucking punch somebody if they fucking drop in on you with priority, or grab a guy and just French kiss him like in an interview because he's being a fucking, like he's a dick. Or on the interview, say your real feelings. Don't be like, oh, I'm so hungover, I can't wait to go meet my coke dealer so I can get I can get a bindle and beat this fucking headache. No, don't say that. But like, if you get interviewed, like, oh, that guy was being a dick. He kept paddling around me and fucking fuck him. I hate that guy. He's such an asshole. And he fucking has the worst breath, too. Have you ever smelled his breath? God, I sat next to him on a plane. It smells like he fucking, like, was just like deep throating a fucking yak's asshole right before liftoff. Oh, it was, like that. Or tell a guy to fuck off. Or they want to interview, like, I'm going to give a terrible interview because that heat was bullshit and I got underscored. Like anything, like Bobby Martinez was this pro surfer for a long time. When he quit the tour, no one would have ever talked about him again had he not given that like batshit crazy, like God knows what was going through his bloodstream at the time interview. Like when when the one in New York where he said, I don't want to be a pro tennis player, fuck pro tennis, it's whatever. Yeah, his career was over. That fucker still rides. They're still putting him in Channel Islands videos, promo videos all the time. He still rides for like Monster Energy and wears their wetsuits and shit. He's getting paid to surf still 5 years past the point he would have if he would just quit quietly. No, that was the smartest shit he could have ever done. Was like, because he's like, fuck, this is boring. He didn't like it. He's got, probably got a wife and kids, or about to at that point. Knows he's going to walk away. No, that guy will be talked about. They talk about him every other contest. Like, oh, remember, it's kind of like Bobby Martinez. Like, that was fucking genius to do. Like, that's the thing. I would use the WSL and their minor platform at best to let people see how good you surf and what your real personality is. Unless you're like a fucking, racist or anti-Semite or child molester. No, don't do that. Keep that tucked away and please fuck off. But no, like, I would be like, if I was on the WSL, I'd be like, all right, I got 4 more contests and this shit's over. I'm going to do some crazy shit. Like, also, I rock up and be like, oh, I had 3 beers for lunch. I'm a little bit drunk. Is that in the rules? If I pay a fine, whatever, I'm going to go out there. Or win a heat and be like, oh, fuck, I didn't even try. That guy can't even do airs. Too bad, I don't know. Just make it interesting for yourself, because the fucking WSL is awful and it's over. It's empty. It's just, I really did. I was pulling for it for so many years. Now I feel like it's just a shit show. Maybe they're going to reorganize and figure it out, but I feel like it just seems like a rudderless piece of shit. And I feel bad for guys like Joe Turpel and Peter Mell and all the guys that helped when it shifted over to the WSL, that like they brought on and did a lot of work to make it seem like a viable product and a professional made thing. And now it just seems like a shitbag moron. Like, I'm sorry. I love surfing, and I'm not calling any of these people shitbags or morons. Not only the athletes or the commentators or even the people who work for WSL. It's just like, it's unwatchable, dudes. It's like, if you, next time you're watching a contest, especially like one like Narrabeen, turn it on during a lull and like have 3 people that don't surf walk in the room and force them to watch it without talking for 5 minutes with the volume up high. They will be like, I would rather watch paint grow on my fucking grandfather's dick, or grass grow on my grandfather's dick, than this. Or paint dry in their grandfather's dick, or their grandma's saggy boobs. I don't know, but it's just, why did the grandma's boobs have to be saggy? Because gravity, everybody. That's just science. Anyway, I know I'm grouchy. I got to wrap it up. I really do. I know I have to pick them up right now, but I pick them up like another. That's not 40 minutes, but I got like another 15 minutes of show I can record. Sorry, I'm trying to do math about childcare while I'm recording this episode. But yeah, and that's coming from a guy who just blew his knee out. My knee is fucked. I will not be surfing for probably the next 4 to 8 weeks at best. I have to go to the doctor on Thursday. I went to Monday to my general practitioner to get recommended to a real doctor because I have an HMO, and our healthcare system in the United States is dog shit at best. I got my second vaccination last week, and I was worried, I'm gonna be sick, and the next day's gonna be shitty. The next day I felt fine. I was like, I stayed up to like 1 o'clock in the morning. I was like, oh God, I'm going to be sick tomorrow. It's going to suck. I'm going to be sore. Nothing happened. It was great. My arm was less sore than I got the Moderna. My arm was a little sore for like 3 days after the first shot. The second shot, which is supposed to be the worst one, my arm was sore for like 1 day in that exact spot where I got it. Then it was gone. I didn't get a fever. I didn't get tired. I didn't get anything. The next day at like 1 p.m., from like 1 to 3 p.m., I got a little groggy and achy. Then I had 2 Advil and drank a coffee, and I felt fucking great. I surfed that night because the swell was coming up, and then this past weekend we had a south swell here in Southern California, where some places were great but most places weren't. You can tell the swell is not great when you see the same 1 or 2 waves from the wedge the guy on the red board, I forget his kid's name, he's from Newport, I believe. You see the same two waves over and over the week of the swell, like that for that week during the swell and the week after, of a guy at the wedge or a guy somewhere getting a barrel, but then you don't see any other good clips at all, even just like gorilla like poach clips, because it was like this. It was walled everywhere, and it got windy early everywhere. By everywhere I mean the beach breaks, but it got windy early pretty much every day of the swell, so it was windy and choppy. So Saturday, I went and surfed literally in the only place that was surfable at like 5:30, 6 o'clock at night during, I don't know, 4 to 6 foot with like 8 foot set south swell, and that's faces. That's not backs. It's not like 16-foot faces, like 8 foot, like couple feet overhead in the sets. But it was a powerful swell, and it was walled. Huntington was completely walled. The wind was a little bit windy in the mornings. There was no sheet glass. There was no like even a window for good barrels really for a couple hours before it all changed, but. It was chunky in the morning, then the afternoon the onshore wind came, and just everywhere from Long Beach to Salt Creek was blown out and shitty. But there's one spot in Orange County. There's a few, but there's one spot I know of that I can surf where it's the last place to blow out. If it's 20 knots northwest wind or less, you can still surf it. And I went and surfed there, and I never surf it because it's crowded as fuck. It's like in the summer. And I'm not going to say where the place is. You can figure it out if you look at my Instagram and if you ever surf there. But in the summertime, like there can be up to like 100 to 200 people out because it's like a beginner's break, and there's like 3 schools there now that surf schools, and it's like I never surf there. I used to surf there all the time, like 5 or 6 years ago when I was younger, but I rarely surf there. It's crowded, but big enough swell. Usually if this pier's like 8 foot on the sets, this place is like 4 to 6, or like 3 to 5. So I went there, paddled out like 5:36. It's about 20 minutes from my house. I drove up there, and it was crowded, but I had a game plan. I paddled further out than everybody else. There was like 50 guys on the inside, but I sat out the back, and I just used my long arms to get into waves. And I've been surfing a long time. I know where to sit. So I sat and waited for the sets, like the biggest sets that were like head high a little bit, maybe a foot, 2 feet overhead, but it's a real slopey, angly wave that kind of bends in weird. And sure enough, I waited 32 minutes for a wave, and I caught a set, and there was guys in the way paddling up the face. There were 2 guys in the shoulder snaking me, but I got to do like one setup carve and then one like pretty decent carve and then an off the lip. So I was happy. Probably the best wave that I saw ridden or caught in the 30 minutes or 40 minutes that I'd been out. Paddle back out, did the same thing, dropped anchor way out the back, caught another one like 20 minutes later, no problem. Just 2 floaters. I wanted to hit it, but I was a little bit worried because it was choppy and there was people in the way, so I couldn't come off the bottom the way I wanted exactly, and I didn't want to land on somebody. So I kind of hit it floater, and then second hit it floater, and then the section kind of closed out. But I was happy. I was like, I'd gotten 2 waves that were head higher, a little bit overhead, and I'd gone fast. And I'd caught waves at a really crowded break. Proud of myself. A little feather in my own cap, So I paddle out the back. I'm going to hat trick it. I'm going to catch one more set wave, because it's getting dark. It's like the sun is set, but you get like a 30 minutes after sunset here in Southern California where you can still surf in the spring/summer. The sun's setting, but I'm going to sit out the back at one more set wave, and I'm Swayze. I'm out of here. 3 waves at a crowded spot on a day where nowhere else is in surfable is a good call. Good achievement. And I wait another 10 minutes. A set wave comes in a little bit smaller than the other ones, but I'm deeper though, like kind of wide and deep, like towards. Like it's a right, and the place is a right, so I'm sitting way towards the left. So I kind of paddle into it, perfect spot to roll in. As I'm taking off, like on the other two waves I caught before, bunch of dudes in the way. But this time there's a dude behind me on the whitewash that's going to be like, if I don't make the wave, I'm gonna land on. There's a guy, if I drop in straight, I'm gonna land on him. And there's a guy, even if I take off at an angle, I'm gonna land on. So at the last 4 or 5 seconds, I have to paddle over a little bit more and in to like kind of pre-plan taking off around these guys, and then this one guy, it's still going to be kind of close. So at the last second, as I'm starting to catch a wave, I turn my board to kind of like dig the fins in and kind of like start my bottom, not start a bottom turn, but kind of I'm going to take off at the top at a little bit of an angle, so my bottom turn will be delayed where I'll kind of go 5 feet across and then drop down. It's a slopey enough wave to do that. I've surfed the wave a million fucking times. Okay, I'm not the best surfer, but I could do this. And I go, and the guy's in the way, and I hit like a cross chop of him standing up. My back foot misses my traction pad or just slides off of it. So I got my front foot on, and I'm like, this is like a head high overhead wave. Like, it's at least, it's a foot or 2 overhead from the bottom of the wave, but it's not a steep, like deadly wave or anything. So now I'm off, but I still want to make the wave. So I kick my leg off and I lay down, and then the whitewash hits me, and then I'm underwater, but I don't want to go over the falls and lose my board because there's people involved. And I'm thinking I'm still going to either stand up in this or I'm going to pull through the back and paddle back out and get the third wave, like not the one behind it, but the next one after that. So I go and I kind of like slide up on my board and wrap my legs around my board and pull through the back as the whitewash of this like slightly overhead wave hits me, and it twists me like 180 underwater, and I hear my fucking knee pop. The left side, my left knee on the left outside pop. It was a loud enough pop that I felt it through my whole leg and body, and I could hear it underwater. Wally, like head high overhead wave was breaking on me. So I fucking, I'm like, and I didn't hit the guys. Luckily, I came out my pop like, oh, sorry about that. The guy that I almost hit, completely oblivious, just was scared of the wave, so he wasn't paying attention, which, goddamn. And I'm not, I'm an idiot. It's my fault for not being a better surfer or more Akamai being able to fucking pull that off. But yeah, every time I get a ding or hurt myself bad, it's usually someone else is in the way. It's not my board or not my fault usually. But this was my fault. If I was a better athlete, I would have made it. But anyway, my knee popped, and it was like for like a couple minutes, I was like, oh shit, it's gonna hurt, and then it didn't hurt. Then I'm like, I could probably stand up on a wave. And I'm like, shut up, moron. You're not going to stand up on a wave. I paddle in, I catch like a whitewash in, and I go in, and I walk to my car and I'm fine. And then, of course, the next morning, my knee is just so swollen, I can't even walk. And that was on Saturday, and I'm recording this on Tuesday, so it's been like 3 or 4 days. I had to make an appointment with my general practitioner because to go to an orthopedic specialist or sports medicine doctor, I have to go to my shit doctor. I have a HMO where since we lived in Orange County, like when we moved back down here 7 years ago, I've never met my doctor in person. I've tried to make appointments. I rarely go to the doctor, but when I did, I've only seen his physician's assistant because he's like busy or whatever. The office is shitty. The office staff is shitty. They're terrible to get on the phone. It's the place is a dump. The guy sucks. I've never met him. I've only met physician's assistants or doctors in training for medical care. So I went there and I got the referral. They basically charged me a $30 copay to look at my knee. A lady poked it, and I go, yeah, I'm going to go to a better doctor. She's like, okay, we'll sign that for you. So I've got an appointment this Thursday to go to a better doctor in Newport Beach, and then we'll see what happens. I'm guessing I either tore my ACL or my meniscus. My friend David Taylor, who watches a lot of sports, according to him, is like, oh, you tore your ACL. And I know, here's my prognosis. He has a chemist. Did he even have a chemistry degree? I don't know. He has some borderline science degree from Carnegie Mellon. So he thinks that he's like fucking, he went to goddamn Harvard Medical School or whatever. But he's like, yeah, I'm guessing it's going to be this. So call me on Thursday when you get out of the doctor. Let me know if I was right. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, they're not real doctors don't do fucking over the phone diagnosis for a knee injury, let alone you moron. So we'll see. But it was my knee is blown out. That is probably why I am so filled with vitriol towards the WSL, because this summer I'm not going to be doing a lot of goddamn surfing. I'm going to be doing a lot of goddamn watching surfing. So I would be stoked and overjoyed if the WSL would get their shit together and produce some goddamn content that I could like actually enjoy. And in closing, for this episode and for the WSL thing, I didn't love them trying to be pro elite athletes or whatever, but it was at least something. I'm not a snob. I don't care if they want to go the other way and just make it a clown circus shit show and have bring Fisher and Duma's Rumors, Damian Fahrenheit, whatever the fuck his name is. Bring all the crazy guys on and let them be commentators. Let them say crazy shit. Let Volcom sponsor another contest and let all their fucking coked out owners and team riders fucking commentate the thing. That'd be killer. That was awesome. That's what surfing is. Surfing is a bunch of fucking now it's just a bunch of mostly white guys or trust fund babies from Orange County and wherever the fuck they live, working for their dads or borrowing money to start a surf company so they don't have to get real jobs. And sometimes it works out, most of the time it doesn't. But it doesn't have to be we're elite athletes and this is the Olympics. It can just be hey, here's a bunch of fucking retarded dipshits we cart around the world to do really interesting things and acrobatic things on waves. I'd watch that. Real people would watch that way before they'd watch the goddamn WSL, even in its best iteration that they've had so far. I don't know. One last thing. I was going to mention next episode, but I got a couple minutes. The last thing, if you think I'm full of shit, think about this. The one thing the WSL should get rid of or fix, man-on-man surfing. Man-on-man surfing is the dumbest shit in the world. It is the lamest shit in the world. It is the worst shit in the world. Here's why. And what I mean by man-on-man, I mean people surfing against each other for waves and priority and all that shit. Whether it's a 2-man heat, 4-man heat, 3-man heat, 6-man heat, I don't give a shit. It's fucking have you ever, as a surfer, had a paddle battle with the guy and taken off where you didn't want to take off and then surf the wave as best as you could? Once in a while, I know there'll be a guy on the shoulder that you'll hit the lip and spray or something. You'll feel pretty cool. Or some guy that's being a dick to you or burns you in waves. Your next wave, you surf above and beyond your ability to show off. But rarely I do not surf my best when I am stressed out, like surfing the pier and it's crowded, or like this last pat the day I blew my knee out. I wasn't taking off where I wanted to fucking take off. I was taking off around 3 other dipshits and I got hurt. Like that. Like these paddle battles and these priority things. Like these surfers aren't that fucking smart. They got a little hamster fucking wheel going around their head, and you want them to have a fucking V8 jet engine like processor? No, man. Like that's, they don't, like, just make it like the X Games. Like have them go out for a heat and give them like a 10-minute window to catch a wave, give the next guy a 10-minute window, give the next guy a 10-minute window, and if it's at Pipe or somewhere where this is one wave at a time, as soon as they catch your wave, whatever, that's fine. Like it goes on to the next guy's priority. But it should just be like runs in the X Games or runs in a skateboard contest. You do your run, and then the next guy does their run. Do your run, and then just keep like run it for 4 days. You can have enough heats. Just do it off of that. This man-on-man paddle battle shit, no one outside of surfing gives a shit about it. It makes sense to no one else. It's fucking boring. It's stupid. It's like this rah like fucking 70s / 80 wannabe macho bullshit. And the 70s 80s are hilarious because it's like all the macho bullshit comes from them, but from back then. But it's like everybody was wearing like teardrop fluorescent fucking shorts and Dayglow pink Oakleys, like the least manliest fucking attire for the manliest 2 decades of surfing. Actually, the 50s and 60s were the most manliest, and they were just wearing cutoff jeans because there was no surf companies. That's probably the best time. But yeah, I'm telling you, think about this. Have you ever caught a wave that you had to hassle for and surfed it as good as you can, or do you regularly catch a wave that you have to hassle for and surf it the best you can, the best of your ability? Think about the last 5 waves you ripped on. What was the circumstance of you catching that wave? Were you hassling? Was it crowded? Or were you relaxed and kind of like zoned out and forgot about where you were and kind of got in the zone and forgot you're trying or whatever and ripped and had fun? Like, that's the thing. Like these guys, like the thing with Jack Freestone and Julian struggling for so long. They're struggling because outside of heats, they're making these fucking Jordy. They're doing these video clips and doing things no one else can do in a wave. Then they put them in a heat and they're like, oh, you got to do 3 solid turns and do this. And now it's like you can do 1 big air, but you have to complete it and ride all the way out. You can't the Italo thing where he did the air and like he leaned back and into the whitewash. He could have hopped and made that because Gabriel did that backside fucking rotary, did the same thing, and he did a claim because as he was fucking falling, he did a claim, so it should have made it. And then the other kid, the Colapinto kid, made his heat with that backside air where he claimed it like a weird jock claim too. Jesus Christ, have some self-respect. And then fell back in the whitewash. That falling back in the whitewash is just as much of a completion or incomplete as Italo's wave was. But I don't give a shit. Italo's fucking great. They're probably fucking with him just to make him so he doesn't win every goddamn contest the whole year. But that would be rad too. That would be more interesting than fucking the shit they're doing. But anyway, yeah, man-to-man surfing is fucking retarded. I'm sorry, and I know I'm old. Retarded is not a nice word. I'm probably legally retarded, so I could use it because my word from my people. But yeah, it's just I thought about that so much during the contest. Like, there's nothing compelling about man-to-man heat surfing. I'd rather see one dude have 4 of them sit at the back and go, oh, green is up. It's green. Green has a 10-minute window to catch a wave, or whatever. Or have them. I don't know. I haven't figured out the logistics. I know. You can do it. It's contest take long. Figure out a way to do it. It would be better than the shit that is going on now. With that being said, please subscribe on iTunes, leave a positive review because I'm such a positive. No, you don't have to do that. I'd appreciate it, but I got over 100 reviews on iTunes, so I'm stoked on you guys. If you have time to do it, do it. If not, not. Follow the show on Instagram at the Surfing Podcast, and I gotta go pick up my son up from school before he's the protective services takes them away. But be good to each other, surf your best, try not to get hurt, be nice to people, don't run people over. In closing statement, I am glad that I pulled back on that wave and didn't run somebody over and hurt them just to catch a stupid fucking mushy 6 foot barely faced wave. I'm glad to have got hurt and sacrificed my leg or my ACL, whatever, as to not run over a plow and do 1 to 3 other human beings and possibly give them a much worse injury or blind them with my nose or my fin or something like that. So, as much as I'm full of piss and vinegar and vitriol, I am trying to be as decent of a person as I can be on this stupid goddamn planet. You should be too. So, be well, surf well, treat each other well. I'll talk to you next time. Thanks for listening. Bye bye.